So, question we hear at Gender Works, and a very important and valid question is, why would a company want to focus on investing in men around, equity issues in the workplace versus focus on, particularly with regard to gender diversity, focusing on women?
So I think that's an excellent question. So first I'll state that men still hold the majority of the top level influential positions in companies. Secondly, there has been a lot invested, and yet we're not seeing the needle move as much with respect to gender inequalities in the workplaces to this point.
And others too, sure.
Yeah, that's true. If you take a look at the McKinsey report from 2019 on the state of women in business, it shows that even though companies are now more committed and have continued to become more committed to reducing gender inequalities, and that there has been much more leader accountability in order to make that change, that over the past 5 years, women report that the needle hasn't moved with respect to gender inequalities in the business. So how is it that we are investing time, we're trying to motivate our leaders, and yet there's no change? So if you step back and look at middle management, I think that there are a lot of men there in those positions who want to do the right thing and have been told that they need to, but they don't know how. So they're trying to figure out, what's going to make the difference. So if you think about, okay, I'm a male, I'll use a football analogy. So
another sports analogy, let's go for it.
So if you're an offensive line coach, what would happen if you took your biggest offensive lineman, this 300-pound guy, and you put him back as the quarterback? He's sitting there and he's looking around, and all of a sudden there's this different view. There are people coming from all different sides. He has to move, he has to think, he's not just focused on blocking the person in front of him. So he all of a sudden learns what it's like to be not protected in the way you would want to be, and to have a different view of the world. And this is what we have to help these middle managers with, is to understand what it's like when these inequalities in the work environment present themselves, to be able to see them and to be able to, act on them so that they become clear.
It's interesting when I think about the male ally research that we've done. That's so much what we hear. There's a sense of what was kind of a general thought, or I heard that women experience that, but I really don't know what that means in a concrete sense. And then all of a sudden it's like, boom, it clicks, and it's this aha moment. Oh, now I understand what you're talking about. And so I do think there's this big divide between the big picture, and then, well, what does that really mean? And what do I do now?
Absolutely. And if we want women to thrive in our environments, then we really need to take advantage of what they bring to the table and make the environments work with them, not make them change in order to be part of the environment. Otherwise, we're losing all of the benefits and power that they bring to the situation.
That's a really good point. And I think a lot of women do feel that way, that they're having to change to fit into something that doesn't feel like a good fit.
Absolutely.